As promised, Paocai is back, and now it's in everything. 10 dishes, 5 Chinese, 5 Western. Some are quick, others take a little extra love. All delicious. Turns out, this salty, sour, crunchy jar of goodness is ridiculously versatile. Let's get into it. We've got a lot to cook. Dish number 1. Yep, that sandwich. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out the last video. And if you have, don't worry, we're not going through the full 8 minutes again. When you look at the fried chicken sandwich, we've got fat on fat on fat. Fried chicken, bacon fat chili oil, butter in a brioche, and mayo. And mayo? Mostly oil, about 80% actually. Just saying. And that's where Paocai steps in. Lactic acid plus other organic acids from fermentation cut right through the richness. It resets your palate so you actually want the next bite. Flavor-wise, this sandwich hits 4 of the big 5. Salt in the batter, brine, mayo, hot sauce. Sweet from the bun and caramelized brown sugar. Umami from the chicken and Paocai. And sour from the brine and slaw. What about spicy? Technically not a taste. It's a sensation. Pain, to be exact. But Sichuan and Nashville, I guess we're both into that kind of thing. Texture-wise, we're solid. Toasted bun, crunchy chicken, creamy mayo. But the Paocai slaw, that's what takes it up a level. Fresh, crisp, slightly fizzy. It adds contrast and complexity. Even the most basic Nashville hot chicken gets a pickle. But with Sichuan Paocai, we're bringing more. Now let's take things back to the wok. After that whole sandwich saga, sometimes you just want something fast, hot, and satisfying. Enter fried rice with diced chicken and Paocai. The lineup is simple. Eggs, marinated chicken, Paocai, Paojiao, and garlic to infuse the oil, then our cold leftover rice, and lastly, but very importantly, spring onions and white pepper. Paocai brings 2 key things to this dish. Brightness to cut through the oil and infuse it with its own layered flavor. The crunch to break up the soft on soft texture. You get umami from the chicken and Paocai, richness from the egg, heat and acidity from Paocai and Paojiao. Stir fry is such a Chinese kitchen staple. It's quick, simple, and also a perfect canvas for Paocai. Just a hot pan and whatever's in your fridge. Next up, butter. I love butter. Who doesn't? Even Julia Child said, with enough butter, anything is good. So we're making Paocai compound butter. Not technically a dish, but wherever butter goes, this can follow. It's simple, customizable, and ridiculously good. I'm using some over-fermented pickled cabbage, chopped and squeezed dry. That's good on its own, but of course we can take it further. I dehydrated some and blended into powder. Now we've got concentrated flavor and that beautiful sparkles. Spread it on good bread and you're already ahead. But I have an avocado, so let's do this. Instead of my usual lime juice, salt, pepper, and chili flakes, I use pickled cauliflower. One thing doing the job of 4. Thick layer of compound butter, almost like frosting. Then avocado. Then whatever toppings I feel like. Another prime example of how the acidity of Paocai balances out rich ingredients. And that one log of butter, you can use on everything. It's basically cheating. But you know what else feels like cheating? Making dumplings with Paocai. With dumplings, baozi, or xianbing, you can put just about anything inside. Today, I'm keeping it classic. Pork, napa, and some old pickled cabbage for that salty, sour kick. Juicy veggies like napa need a little prep. I salt them first, pour salt extra moisture, and season them at the same time. As for the Paocai, I just squeeze out as much juice as I can. Unlike most of my home cooking, I don't wing dumpling fillings. Once it's wrapped, there's no going back. One key step though, mixing. You want to stir the meat in one direction until it becomes sticky and cohesive, what we call 上劲 in Chinese. Working the meat activates myosin, the protein that binds water and fat. That plus salt in the seasoning gives the filling its bounce, juiciness, and structure. I mix almost everything together except the veggies. Those got tossed with sesame oil first to lock in the moisture. Once the filling's ready, we wrap. I fold mine the way my dad did. Big belly stands upright. They all look the same at a glance, but each has its own little quirk. That's the charm of handmade food. For cooking, I use the cold water trick. Add a splash after it boils a couple times. It makes the skin extra chewy. Pork and cabbage is already a solid combo, but with Paocai, now we have sour, sweet, salty, umami, all in one bite. A quick dip in sauce and you're set. No plating, no fuss, just steam and good company. Dish number 5, Paocai pasta. Time to cross the map a little. This one is inspired by carbonara, creamy yolks, salty cheese, crispy bacon. And yeah, I know. Carbonara is traditionally made with guanciale, cured pork gel. But don't let the purists kill the vibe. We are working with what we've got. I grated a generous pile of cheese, added in 3 yolks and 1 whole egg. Then a lot of black pepper. Just look at all that yolk and cheese. Yeah, just a little more. For the Paocai twist, I'm using it 2 ways. First, diced watermelon radish, partially dehydrated. Think a crossover between jiacai and 萝卜干. Second, chopped Paocai, sautéed in bacon fat to infuse the oil with all its funky, glorious flavors. Now, confession time. I'd never made carbonara before. My first attempt, the sauce broke. Like, broke. Curdled mess. Here's what happened. Normally, you can create a simple sauce, bringing cheese and starchy water together with some elbow grease. It's an emulsion. Your arms are the blender. But egg yolks curdle fast at lower temp, so if the pan's too hot, game over. Second try. I turn off the heat after sautéing the Paocai, let the pan cool a bit, add a splash of pasta water, and then stir in the yolk and cheese. Vigorous stirring. Gentle heat. Way better. To finish, sprinkle on a dehydrated Paocai for texture and a little green oil for contrast. And there it is. Rich, creamy pasta with layers of flavor and texture that won't knock you out after 2 bites, thanks to the magic of Paocai. Kinda like a fancy version of instant noodle with jiacai, just a little more exotic. Now let's cool things down a little bit. Cold noodles with peanut sauce, a summer staple. But honestly, I eat this year-round. I use shredded chicken breast, crunchy pickled cabbage, julienne cucumbers and carrots, and yes, the scary mandolin. I don't think I've met a chef who hasn't been caught by one, but it's fast, consistent, and we're forever locked in this love-hate relationship. Traditionally, Sichuan cold noodles are made with alkaline noodles, not the easiest to find in the US, so I used some soba noodles that were about to expire. Good noodles are good noodles, but the real star, the peanut butter sauce. I think that with hot water, grated in the garlic, and swap the usual vinegar or lemon juice for Paocai brine. Then added soy sauce, sesame oil, Sichuan peppercorn oil, and a touch more sugar. I also fried some peanuts and salted them while hot for extra texture and nuttiness. Then it's just assembly. Noodles, veggies, sauce, chili oil, and a sprinkle of dehydrated Paocai made earlier. Super simple. Honestly, the hardest part is probably the chopping, but the result? So satisfying. It's nutty, sour, spicy, incredibly appetizing. Skip the chicken and it's an easy vegan dish too. I finished the whole plate in 5 minutes. Dish number 7, scallop ceviche with a Paocai brine-infused leche de tigre and a crispy twist, fried pickled long beans. Now usually, pickled long beans show up in stir-fried dishes like pickled long beans with minced pork, but they really remind me of capers. Punchy, salty, sour. So here, I'm frying them for texture. Add a crunchy surprise to each bite. Next, let's talk leche de tigre, the classic Peruvian marinade for ceviche. Traditionally, it's lime juice, fish stock, and spices. I'm using a 50-50 blend of Paocai brine and lime juice. I could have gone for brine, but I do think seafood needs that fresh, bright, citrusy lift. To that, I add red onion, garlic, chili pepper, ginger, cilantro, fish sauce, salt, and just a touch of my triple S sauce. Send it to the fridge to let the flavors mingle. Meanwhile, I slide some raw scallops into thin discs and drop them into the marinade to cure for about 30 minutes. Curing is a chemical process where the acid in the marinade breaks down proteins in the scallop, transforming it from translucent and raw to firm and opaque. Like cooking, but without heat. It's safer to eat, but not parasite-proof, so always use super fresh, high-quality seafood for ceviche. While that's happening, I prep the toppings: pickled radish, sliced thin, spring onions, chopped and shocked in ice water. Then it's plating time. I love how you can see through the thin slices of radish. And to finish, lime zest, a crunchy fried long beans, a final drizzle of leche de tigre, and a touch of fennel oil. And ta-da! A simple, clean, punchy little dish that also looks cute. Next up, braised duck with pickled radish. It's one of those Chinese dishes I've been craving for a while, and when I spotted some congee cake at the Asian market the other day, well, that sealed the deal. This dish is perfect for using up paocai that's gotten too sour to eat raw. The funkier and more fermented the radish, the better it is for braising. I chopped up some pickled chili, ginger, and cabbage along with the usual braising spices. Then parboiled the duck in cold water, skimmed the scum, and gave it a good sear in a hot wok until the skin turned golden. In went the aromatics: doubanjiang, the paocai, and hot water to deglaze. Brought it to a boil and dropped the heat to a gentle braise. Since I don't have a lid big enough for this wok, I made a cartouche to keep everything submerged and slow down evaporation. Meanwhile, I blanched the congee cake in salty water for a couple minutes. After about 20 minutes of dark braising, I added in the congee and pickled radish, then kept it going for another 25. Final touches: soy sauce, Sichuan peppercorn oil, and a little heat bomb to reduce the sauce. Top it with spring onion and cilantro, and there you have it. During the braise, all that sourness from the pickled radish melts into the broth. The radish also absorbs the duck's aroma, sometimes making it more popular than the duck itself. One note: the congee cake I found here way too rubbery, not even close to the texture I remember from China. Once you've had the real deal, there's really no going back. But for now, it's close enough. Serve it over white rice and oh yeah. Moving on to our last Western dish: pork chop with carrots and fennel. It's a bit more involved, but totally worth it. First, I tie the pork chop with twine to help keep its shape and cook evenly. Like the fried chicken, I brine it overnight in paocai brine. And while that's happening, some baby rainbow carrots also took a dive in my pickle jar. The next day, I made fennel oil with fennel stalks, parsley, spring onion, and garlic. Strain it, cool it, done. These kinds of green oils are quite common in fine dining, but honestly, not that hard to make at home. Why fennel?
What is this thing called?
Well, partly to honor Matt's guest during our paocai tasting, but mostly because fennel pairs beautifully with pork, and it will show in a few forms in this dish. I toasted fennel seeds and ground them for our paocai honey glaze. I made a 1-to-1 reduction of paocai brine and honey, added the ground fennel and pickled ginger, then simmered down until glossy. The goal? Just looser than honey, pourable but thick enough to coat. Strain out the ginger, but don't toss it. It's candied pickled ginger now, and it's got so much potential. And there it is, our sour, sweet, ginger fennel infused paocai glaze. It is the bomb. Next up, carrot puree. I steamed carrots, made brown butter. Yep, be careful. Kitchen is a dangerous place. And blend it all while drizzling in the brown butter. Season with salt and white pepper. Smooth, sweet, rich. Something to balance the paocai tang. Then a quick fennel and carrot salad. I shaved the veggies thin and shocked them in ice water to make them curl and crisp. The dressing is paocai brine, spring onion, pepper, olive oil, fennel oil, salt, honey, and a little Dijon, all emulsified into a bright vinaigrette. Now to the pork. I let it calm to room temp for about an hour, patted it dry, seasoned it with salt and pepper, and seared all sides until golden brown. Then into the oven, flipping and checking every few minutes. While that's cooking, I sauteed the pickled carrots to brown the skin, deglazed with Paocai brine, steamed until tender, then glazed them with that beautiful Paocai honey mix. Once the pork was done, I glazed it while still hot and let it rest. I'm really happy with how the Paocai element came together. They add this complex, funky layer I've never tasted before in a pork chop. And for me, that's a win. And finally, let's bring it home with our dish number 10. The simplest, humblest pairing. The OG that started it all. Paocai and congee. No complicated cooking required here, just a bowl of rice porridge and a few crunchy, salty, sour bites on the side. A drizzle of chili oil, and that was breakfast growing up. It's one of those things that feels almost too simple to explain. But now, after working in kitchens, I realize just how well it works. The congee is soft, sweet, and warm. The Paocai, cold, crunchy, and sharp. Each bite resets the last. It's not flashy, it's not complicated, but it's balanced and deeply comforting. So that's it. 10 dishes, each one showed a different side of Paocai, bringing brightness, funk, texture, and depth. More than anything, this was just a fun way to play, to bring together experiences, memories, and curiosity all in one kitchen. Thanks for cooking with me. Which one was your favorite?